Welcome to episode 105 of Formidable Opponents, a show that pits three people who have known each other virtually their entire lives in a series of conversations as we argue what is best, or in this case, the worst, in a variety of fun, engaging, and critical pop culture topics we all debate about. I'm Randall, and with me as always, Bob and Joseph. And this week we are joined by our friends Jenna and Danielle from the Did Not Need to Know podcast, and this week's topic is Worst Christmas Movie. Although there are so many reasons and so many things to love about Christmas time, you know, the celebrations, the memories we make with friends and family, the time off work, remembering, worshiping, eating, drinking, the music, the classic holiday movies, there's also some drawbacks to the holiday. Stressing over gifts, trying to find that balance between work deadlines, family, because they can be a stressor. Also, there are terrible, terrible holiday movies, which we're going to talk about today. You know, the ones that we are about to discuss, the paycheck movies, the ones we love to tear apart. The plots are lazy, the acting is terrible, and the only thing the movie has going for it is it's taking place during Christmas. Now, all movies we selected for this episode are strictly non-Hallmark movies. We'll talk about those in general, because those movies are just a huge mashup of one movie altogether. Bad Christmas movies, they sort of get an unfair pass because even though they are rotten, some of them, right? They have the great fortune of being bad during the holidays. We will all somehow get roped into rewatching these movies with our kids as we're getting stuff ready for the holidays. I mean, the setting, the music, the Christmas magic is still there. So they don't really ever leave us and get tossed to the film junkyards of our minds like a stale 90s Steven Seagal movie. They endure. They are there for us like an eager right tackle who gets deemed as an eligible receiver down at the goal line, waiting for their chance to elevate their profile. Christmas movies are oversaturated, but nobody complains about it. How can we complain? There's too much of something that is supposed to represent a good thing, right? Well, we can't complain, and we are going to complain. For this week, Formidable Opponents will debate and discuss worst Christmas movie. As always, I'm joined by the only four people who are asking the world to please put the Kirk Cameron back in Christmas. How's everybody doing?
Hello.
Kirk Cameron.
Terrible. I didn't even like Growing Pains.
Oh man.
We're still.
I saw his movie well, no, I didn't see it, but I know which one y'all are talking about.
Not the one where he's like, he works for the fire department, but he's addicted to porn.
No.
Is it that one?
That's a different
one.
It's a fucked up one, man.
That is a good one.
I wouldn't say good.
Like the way he handled his host.
Oh, God.
So, guys, before we start off with a check-in, Bob and Joseph, let's welcome our guests. What's great about having repeat guests is that you lose the formalities, right? They are sisters who host a true crime podcast, and you could find them on late night Sundays on CBS after reruns of Mama's Family or your local news. Jenna and Danielle from the Did Not Need to Know podcast. How are you all?
Woo! We're great. I chugged a coffee and now I'm on wine because it's late here and I'm a little tired, but I'm excited.
That's good. That's good.
I like when Danielle's Jersey voice comes out.
Oh my God. Can I tell you my son's accent? I'm like, where are you getting this accent from? He's 2.5. And everybody's like, that's your New York accent coming out in him. I was like, oh shit. All right.
Yeah.
Well, didn't know I talk like that, but good to know.
Coffee.
Thanks for having us back.
Yes.
We're so excited. It only took me like badgering you every other month. It's fine. And in person, like
well, we all went on vacation together, and it was brought up. We're like, yes, we'll bring you on. Don't worry, we got you.
Jenna drunk bullied Randall into this. She came with a list of episodes. Okay, what about this one? What about this one? And this one wasn't one we picked, but I'm very excited about it.
Was this our only Christmas episode? Because we've kind of like done.
Yeah, we're only doing one this month.
Yeah, we're only doing one this
year.
month.
We usually do like 2 a year.
So our annual Christmas episode. Welcome.
Special, Joseph. It's our special.
Special, right?
Ooh, we get to be on a special. I feel very honored and privileged.
And of course, in welcoming Jenna and Danielle back, for those listeners who haven't caught our last collaboration, they joined us for episode 67, Best Horror Movie Scene. It's been way too long, and you know how I know? I talked about a kid's birthday party I took my son to on that episode. That kid is now a junior senator in Louisiana. So that's right. That episode took place in 1994. But how are you both doing, by the way? Christmas plans. Let us know what you guys are up to for the holidays.
We've been doing a lot of Christmas activities together with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Prep wise, I bought everything, hid everything. It's not wrapped.
We actually have a Zoom party with Bob's wife, Dina,
On
Creative
Thursday.
Little Pill, on Thursday to wrap all the presents and just get really drunk probably together.
I wanted to thank you all for that because you just gave me a night so I can get drunk.
Oh,
Watch Die Hard.
Die Hard.
Die Hard. Now, Die Hard Christmas movie, not a Christmas movie.
A definite Christmas movie.
Mhm.
No,
We've had this
Randall.
debate. This is like, people are going to kill us because we talk about
Takes
this every
place on
year.
Christmas. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joseph says no.
Good.
I
Joseph.
say no.
Thanks, Joseph. You're
I
allowed.
don't
He's,
think
he's mad that
It's an action movie.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
It's
Action.
another reason why Joseph.
So is what's it called? The one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. What was it?
Jingle All the Way.
You go all the way. It's an action movie.
That is a
is
Christmas
like-
movie.
There's Christmas shopping in that. That's like a lot of Christmas.
But guys,
Yes.
let's get our hatred going right off the bat. I want to shift
What
gears.
I'm known for.
I want to shift gears out of curiosity and warm everyone up to the cold-hearted hate we are about to discuss and we're about to exhume. All I Want for Christmas, Mariah Carey, an absolute granular holiday song, good or bad Christmas song. If you say good, say no more. If you say bad, we need a full-scale explanation. What do you guys? What is your take on
Girls,
this
go
song?
for it, girls.
I don't listen to it to the point of nausea. So
You just got to listen to it once for nausea.
once, the one time it gets me in the spirit, and then I'm good. Maybe once, twice, and that's it.
3 times a lady.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking.
I know how the boys feel about it, so I'm hesitant to say, but it
I love
doesn't
it.
bother me.
Doesn't bother me either. I love it. I think it's the best Christmas song ever.
It's just
No
I know
way.
Joseph
No
would rather
way.
'Cause of the
literally
money?
drive off a bridge than
Yes.
listen to that song.
I want you to go back a couple of years and try to listen to her sing it live, and then I want you to tell me if you still think it's the greatest Christmas song ever. A few years ago,
Is she
like I
not
knew
good
she
live?
butchered the shit out of it.
But
you
then
know,
again-
when she talks naturally, like she has a very heavy, like Bronx accent.
Really?
Yes.
Does she still live in New York?
Who knows?
She's always there.
I like the memes
Probably.
where they're like Mariah Carey's like awakening from her like freezer chamber.
Yeah, I love all those
That's
memes. Those
insane.
memes are great. Yeah.
So, guys, we're talking bad Christmas movies this episode. I want to ask the panel, what makes a bad Christmas movie? Give us some of the elements. Let's start with you, Jenna. Tell us a
Oh,
little bit
God.
about it.
I knew you were going to say me.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say like a stale plot line. Like I know it's like supposed to be sugary sweet because it's Christmas and everything, but like it actually has to go somewhere. You know, it's good if it's for the kids, but you know, throwing in a little like subtle adult humor doesn't hurt. So it's just don't bore me. It has to go somewhere.
I mean, I wouldn't have said that. I don't know.
sorry.
I think Christmas movies have to be fun and like almost bring me into like my childlike state of like being a little kid.
Oh, that's nice.
I want to feel like a
like
little kid at Christmas again, like excited.
Good point.
See, this is why you're the better sister. I'm so sweet and innocent.
Yeah.
I don't like things too over the top. If it's clearly, you know what's gonna happen, like the Hallmark movies.
Like
I'm
every
not
Hallmark.
for it.
Wait,
Yeah, I know,
don't-
I know,
you're
I know.
jumping ahead,
We're
you're
not-
jumping ahead.
We're not
All right.
there yet, but yeah, if it's like I said, if it's way too cheesy, way too I like what Danielle said about like just being reminded, like there was that movie 8-Bit Christmas. It came
Yeah.
out a couple of years ago.
Loved
That
it.
was kind of cool. I mean, it was all about, you know, this kid trying to get a Nintendo. You know, that brings back memories, you know, because actually having, you know, played in, you know, our own Nintendos when we were younger and whatnot. So that's cool. That's a good feeling. I don't like it to be, if it's like I said, just way too cheesy and just completely obvious. Yeah, it's not for me.
Cheesy movies. I hate cheesy movies. And I get that whole like something that should remind you of your childhood during Christmas. Like that's a really cool thing. to get out of a Christmas movie. But, you know, my family was dysfunctional, so I think I more relate to like Christmas Vacation. I think that's like right up my alley. But like, I get that. You kind of want to, I mean, if the Christmas movie, you know, makes you think of your family growing up, I think that's a good thing. But too much cheesiness in like the plot that you can see a mile away. Yeah, I'm not big on that either, Joe.
I'm the same way. I think we all agree when the sentiment is not felt and when it's transparently formulaic or trite or inauthentic. To me, it's got to be funny, and it also has to pull at your heartstrings. That makes a great Christmas movie because the holidays are all about reflecting, about togetherness, and about fun times. And I think if you could cross that little tic-tac-toe, you could make a very good movie. If none of those things are met, then it kind of sucks. And I think a lot of these movies that we're about to discuss don't hit those, you know, that triad of being heartfelt, being funny, and it about family. So we'll talk about those in a minute. But you guys talked about Hallmark movies. Let's talk about the 350 Hallmark movies that are out there. You know, your take on that juggernaut. What are the worst repeated tropes? And Bob, you kicked us off a little bit with Hallmark movies. So talk about some of the tropes.
I can't even tell you about the tropes because all the movies I don't watch them.
Watch
like
them, Bob?
somebody
You
moves to a
just think
small
that they're bad.
a woman moves to a small town. She finds like the guy she dated when she was in first grade, and she falls in love, and he fixes all her problems with his penis. That's usually the way it works.
There's always some woman has to be baking. She's always baking cookies and giving them to somebody. It's a baking competition. Some kind of baking is involved in all these Christmas movies, and there's some kind of catastrophe in the kitchen. Always.
Something is always closing. Somebody's always losing a farm or
Not legs.
A restaurant. A restaurant that's been in the family for generations.
Shut down. Yeah.
Not legs.
To add to it, I had a city girl falls in love with small country farmer who's losing the business, and I'm probably and you, Randy, I'm sure you watched them.
From with Charlotte from Sex and the City. What the heck is her name? She actually is getting divorced and then goes to Africa to like be with elephants.
It's like Christmas with elephants, and it's with Rob Lowe.
And Rob Lowe,
Wow. Somehow,
and then she actually like moves there. Like that's not realistic, lady.
They fall in love with 3 days. She gets to feed baby elephants, and obviously, like Bob said, Rob Lowe fixes her problems with his beautiful penis, and that's the end of it.
The end.
Is it always or whoever's going to talk next? Is it always the girl who from the city, or is it always the dude? Is there ever a guy that's like, oh, I'm just a hotshot lawyer who's here to close up this stupid cookie dump
I think
company?
it might be leaning more towards like a big city girl comes and there's like a hot like contractor back in her
collar guy
hometown or the town. She's doing a news report and then got snowed in, and then in 3 days they fall in love, and she finds the real meaning of life.
Right.
You know, somebody at Hallmark is going to listen to this podcast and be like, that's a great fucking idea for me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, there's always like an ex, like a soon-to-be ex on the phone who like really sucks, and she's like,
oh, I'm not going to get married to him. I'm going to get married to this country guy.
Exactly.
The thing about that soon-to-be ex, he's always like this driven guy who is focused on a career and a financially secure future, but he's always being portrayed as the asshole. And the guy who's struggling, who owns like an alpaca farm, is our hero because he's better looking. So I never get that.
He's nice and sensitive and understands her
feelings. And he has abs.
He's really good at sex.
So that's what these movies are about. They're essentially about sex. Okay.
It's women who need a little spice in their life.
I know.
Exactly.
50 Shades of Grey for Christmas.
So guys, is it three? Well, I was just gonna say, is 350 of them this year, or is that like in total?
Like the last 4 or 5 years that this thing has become a phenomenon.
Together.
Yeah.
They start in July, right?
I honestly read what you wrote, Randall, and I was like, I don't know what he means when he says 350 Hallmark movies. That's the total number of these things that they've done?
Total. Yeah, total that they've done so far.
That's an insane amount.
That's a lot of movies.
They've only been doing it for like 2 years.
Yeah. And it's
why do they all wear the same outfits on their
They live in the South, Joseph.
A red sweater and a
lot
green
of like
jacket.
pencil skirts and like smart business suits and
a small bar.
Somebody's about to get fired. Yeah.
Country line dancing.
It's terrible, but people love them. And I will say this, if I'm hanging out and there's a Hallmark movie, I'll catch it. I think it's kind of a good.
Yeah, but you're also in love with Hope Floats.
That's a great movie. Shut your mouth.
All they did was take Hope Floats and add a Christmas tree. That's all I'm saying.
That's fine.
So guys, let's talk about a classic movie. It's a Wonderful Life. Probably not on anyone's honorable mentions list here. It is on mine. Is it the most overrated Christmas movie? At least no. Nobody is staying awake for this entire thing, I think. Can I tell you why?
I wrote a lot. I wrote a lot to attack you, Randall. So get ready.
Can I tell you why I think this movie,
Defend
It's a Wonderful Life, is the most overrated Christmas movie? Okay, so George Bailey gets walked over, puts his ambition off to the side for the happiness of others who wouldn't do the same for him. It's too morose. George can't leave a shitty hometown. Without George, the women's lives go to shit. Mary becomes an unattractive librarian and Violet becomes a prostitute. George is screaming and, that annoying. I'm losing my voice today, so I can't do the George Bailey voice, but it's just, I can't watch this.
Someone else do it, please.
You can't do a Jimmy Stewart impression?
You were there, and you were there, and you were there. No, I can't do it.
Why would you do that?
It was, to me, I think this is the most overrated Christmas movie of all time, and I don't care for it.
I've never seen this movie.
What?
I know of it. I know.
No.
Joseph only likes his music videos in black and white.
Hang up if you don't like it.
Hang up and go watch it.
American movie that you have to watch. It's like a rite of passage. It's like Gone with the Wind.
I have no
Joseph's
patience.
Never seen Gone with the Wind.
I have no patience for a 2-hour movie from the 40s.
Buddy.
From the 40s, right? It's from the 40s?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's great.
What
2 hours
someone
of
else
this,
talk
though.
before I get all heated.
We saw it in movie theaters a couple of years ago when they released it in like a local small
So you
town.
all like this movie, Jenna and Danielle. You all like It's a Wonderful Life.
I mean,
Sell me
Is
on
it
it.
overrated?
So, all right, to quote Phoebe from Friends, she watches it and then doesn't get to the end. She goes, it should be called A Sucky Life. And just when it can't suck anymore, it does. And I get it. It is depressing. But the ending is just like, okay, life has some really crappy turns. Mm-hmm. But in the end, you can count on the people that mean the most to you.
It doesn't even matter.
Understandable.
Okay. Can I attack Randall now?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Unless, go
I'm
ahead.
so ready for this. Okay. So I'm that weirdo that loves old classics. I love Humphrey Bogart. I love Jimmy Stewart. I love Cary Grant. I love Audrey Hepburn, Katharine Hepburn. Okay. So I'm ready for you.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Be scared. Be scared.
So Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed, huge. This was probably a huge get for this movie back in the day. Just to have those two huge, beautiful people who were just insanely talented. And then, yes, okay, it's very depressing. But most movies back then weren't really happy go lucky.
Singing in the Rain.
Singing. Oh,
Wizard of Oz.
Don't get me distracted. Okay, so yeah, it's really depressing, but it has a moral. And things never went his way, and he sacrificed a lot for his family. But he saved his brother from drowning in freaking, what was it, the ice skating thing. He fell through the ice, and then he lost his hearing, so he couldn't become a pilot or something. And that's true sacrifice for family and everything. And it took his whole life to realize all these sacrifices. He didn't go here to help the banker or this old pharmacist or whatever the hell it was. And it took him to reach rock bottom and someone to snap him out of it, which happened to be a really old looking angel called Clarence.
Clarence.
To tell him that listen, your life had meaning. You mean a lot to people. The world would have been real shit without you. And it's he felt so lucky to have the life that he had at the end, so grateful. He had a wife who freaking adored him, beautiful children, no one was dead in his family. His brother didn't die. His brother was really successful. And it's just great, Randall. What's your problem?
I just can't get into it. I watch that movie and I fall asleep.
Jimmy
Stewart. Yeah, it's just not good. Bob, you don't like it either, right?
I've only seen it once, but I mean, I'm into vintage and old school horror movies, not crappy Christmas movies. So,
sorry, I'm not cool enough for you, Bob. I don't really know what to tell you.
All right, I'll give it another chance. Okay, you sold me on it.
Thanks.
Good argument. Excellent. So let's go on to our honorable mentions for worst Christmas movie of all time.
Let's see who can piss off.
Kicking it off with Jenna. What do you got for your honorable mentions?
I feel very targeted this episode. Okay, honorable mentions. Where's my tiny paper? Okay. So I watched a lot of crappy things lately just because I have no life. So there's a new one called Brandy with Brandy and Heather Graham, she was so hot back in the day. And it's called Best Christmas Ever.
It has dots in the title.
It has dots.
No, that's right off the bat. That's awful.
Yeah.
And it's so bad. It has Jason Biggs, and he might be the only actor that can actually act.
The guy that fucked the pie?
He didn't fuck a pie in this one though.
You fucked the mistletoe.
I don't want to watch it.
He was the only normal one in this. The worst movie I've ever seen. My husband actually watched it and he watches nothing with me. So the fact that we both were like, we're like hate watched it. We're like, let's just see what happens next. Because it was the plot
Like
made
a soap
no
opera.
sense. All of a sudden a son was dead and we're like, when did he die? And it was just crazy. It was
this a
the worst.
straight to,
It was,
if it was a back
I think it was on
Netflix.
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 And I got Noel Diary with hot Justin Hartley from This Is Us.
I'm mad at
Terrible.
Mad at him.
Jingle All the Way with I'm sorry.
Oh, Joseph is just.
You got to do your
I'm
sports
back.
maker.
The lights
me
were
back.
off before. As soon as he said that, all the lights turned on.
My kids love that, but it sucks. Christmas
me
with the
back.
Cranks, also terrible. I'm gonna say Jack Frost with Jack Nicholson and Michael Keaton, even though I love them, but that's the
Michael
most
Keaton had
depressing-
frosted tips too.
Exactly. Like, why did he have blonde hair? Worst movie because it was so sad. So sad. And then Polar Express because the animation just creeped me out so
Yeah.
bad.
Really?
Good list.
What I got.
Enjoyed that. Danielle, what do you got for us? Honorable mentions.
Okay. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Fuck that whole movie. Bullying. If you need lessons in bullying, watch that. I'm sorry. I'm going to say A Christmas Story.
No.
Whoa.
Okay, sorry.
Whoa.
A lot of hate
God.
going here.
Fudge.
My dad brought this movie home. I'll never forget. We were little. And he goes, "Oh, my coworker said this is a really good Christmas
That's just
movie."
childhood trauma, Danielle. Don't bring that up.
Well, it's stuck in my head, obviously. And we sat down to watch it as a family. One of my few memories of all of us on the couch together.
Don't bring it up.
Jeez.
Sorry. Anyway, and we were horrified. I was like, this is not funny. Like the tongue stuck on the whatever. Okay. Anyway, sorry guys. Christmas with the Cranks. I got
Yes,
because
good pick.
it was just. I mean, why? Why? is
Yeah,
that movie?
not a big fan of that one either.
That one sucks.
Polar Express, obviously the creepy animation.
So creepy.
I love Tom Hanks, but no, it was a little odd.
Why was there a random ghost in there that had no actual job? No,
I
Ghosts
don't
are
think
people
you should
too.
take children from their beds in the middle of the night.
Yeah. Dead eyes. Yeah.
Did I?
God. And then I hate this movie, but I put it on my honorable mentions. The Holiday. Just be-
No. Oh, sorry.
Is that,
That
Jack
was,
Black?
Jack Black's first
Yes.
serious role.
Yeah, that's a
Oh.
good one. I like that movie.
Is that a
Thank
Christmas?
I
you,
like
Yeah.
Randall, but
Yeah.
I can't. Cameron Diaz is the worst.
Okay,
Worst
okay,
actress.
Okay.
She,
But
she
you
was
have
the worst
Winslet.
in.
And Jude Law.
It's so dumb
Yeah.
though. Like no one's
Jude
switching
Law.
houses like that.
No, honestly, that's a real website.
It started in
That's
Airbnb.
Really?
That started the Airbnb. You're
I
right.
would
Yeah.
do that. Freaking go over to England, have a nice holiday. Someone can live in my house.
I would, but no.
People do that.
No, you don't talk and make a life with your Airbnb's neighbors. Like it's weird. No, Cameron Diaz just sucks. Anyway, that's it.
What do you got for us, Bob?
Oh shit! Nobody mentioned Jim Carrey's The Grinch. I fucking hate that movie. It's not
I don't
any good.
like it either.
Okay.
It's
Bob,
not. I love Jim
holding it
Carrey.
back.
I love Jim Carrey, but
Bob,
that
I
movie
thought I
was
liked
terrible.
you. It's
It's
over
a
now.
terrible
We're
movie. He
friends
does a
done.
terrible. He's way too over the top. Jack Frost, I have Jack Frost as well. Deck the Halls,
Mhm.
with Danny DeVito and that nerd Ferris Bueller. I don't like that movie. I don't even like him as an
Ferris
actor. Yeah, Ferris Bueller. I didn't even like Ferris Bueller because of him.
Matthew Broderick.
Come on.
Yeah, Matthew
Yeah.
Broderick. Not a big fan, man. And then lastly, Black Christmases. I mean, the horror movies. Black Christmas, they did a remake of it like in 2005, 2006. I wasn't a big fan of it either.
I just have a quick list. Bad Santa 2.
Yeah,
As
what
much
the
as-
fuck was up with that?
Yeah, as much as I
love.
love Bad Santa was a hilarious movie. It's a classic.
Standalone.
There was no need for this. I love Christina Hendricks, but just no need for it.
Ooh, I love her.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Yeah.
Surviving Christmas. This is another stupid one.
Me too.
Do you know this one? This
Yeah.
is the Ben Affleck one.
On my
and
list.
Jingle All the Way 2.
There's a second one.
Yes, there is. Okay,
They
because I
have a
love the
problem
first
buying
one.
toys again.
Yeah, well,
No, it's a completely different.
Arnold's not
It's
in this
Larry
one,
the
it's
Cable
Sylvester
Guy. No, it's horrible.
I know.
It's
Oh
stupid.
gosh.
It's at the height of the get her done stuff, and it's just like
No,
No, I
that-
bypass
that's
it.
get her done.
So my list for honorable mentions for worst Christmas movie, I have It's a Wonderful Life. I have Miracle on 34th Street. I just black and white just now. The Grinch, The Santa Claus, I'll Be Home for Christmas. Tyler Perry's A Medea Christmas. Love the Coopers, Mixed Nuts, Surviving Christmas, Deck the Halls, Christmas with the Cranks, and The Nutcracker.
Can I
you said Santa Claus?
Yeah,
Santa
can I
Claus, yeah.
And the first one?
Yes, all of them. They also. We're
You
going to
don't
talk
like-
about more later. Yeah, I don't
Randall,
like.
You don't
I
like
feel
the
like
hot
you
cocoa?
just
I'm not a
don't
fan
like
of Tim
Christmas.
Allen.
What happened
no.
to the little boy in you?
I'm glad nobody mentioned the Muppets Christmas Carol because Sir Michael Caine acted his balls off on that one. He
Do
made
it,
Gonzo.
Randall. Do it, Randall. Can you still do it with your
The
sickness?
I
Muppets,
can't. Oh,
like
I
Tim
can't.
Allen,
Michael
are a
Caine.
national treasure. So.
He made
I can't
Gonzo.
wait. Which Grinch do you not like, Randall? Which
The
one?
Jim Carrey one? Yeah.
What the fuck is
wrong
happening?
with
No,
you?
that's
It's a
not.
Texas
He
thing,
did
isn't
terrible.
it?
He did terrible.
It was just not a
You
good
know,
movie.
did not too terrible.
I think it's because you live in Texas. The sun is penetrating the brain and screwing
The
things
heat
up.
has affected your mind.
Yeah, but that's been forever.
I
No,
can't.
just not a fan.
I'm,
of it.
it was nice zooming with you guys. I'll see you later. No, I'm just kidding.
And
No, because you can't leave because you are up first, Jenna. So we're gonna talk about Jenna's selection for worst Christmas movie. Go ahead, Jenna.
Okay, I get that it's 1964, so it's like a different time.
Yes.
People didn't really care about other people's feelings, but like, come on. I'm not even criticizing the claymation or the stop
what
motion.
your pick is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, that would be important. Good job.
Yeah.
Danielle listens. Yeah.
I'm
You forgot to write that
Rudolph
on her
the
notes.
Red-Nosed Reindeer. I'm so sorry. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So it's 1964. We got the claymation going on. We got the stop
Mhm.
motion going on. That's fine. I have no problem with that. I didn't even like this as a child. So, in almost every scene, poor Rudolph is bullied. He's bullied so bad. I know Danielle put it on her honorable mention, which I didn't know about. He's verbally abused and neglected by his dad. What is it, Donner?
Yeah,
like
Donner.
the lead reindeer. His flying coach, hope you're not like that, Bob, eggs on the other reindeers to keep bullying and tease him. Santa is like the meanest Santa ever to exist. He's so offended by Rudolph's red nose that he basically is like to Rudolph's dad, like, you need to hide him somewhere. Okay, so the only cute part is that girl, what is her name? Clarice?
Yeah.
Which is a terrible name. But like
Only
the only
because Silence of the
Hello,
Lambs.
Clarice.
Not the Hannibal.
bad association. The only cute part is when she's like kisses him or something and he's like, I think I'm cute. She thinks I'm cute. Then he runs away because he's so bullied. And then there's like an island of misfit toys, which basically they're all disabled and no one wants them. So they have to live on this island and they like
Before the American with Disabilities Act.
yes, before ADA happened. And they're like all these like sad sacks just singing about how no one wants them. It's so horrible and depressing. And this is based solely for children to watch. And then at the end, Santa, like, there's a blizzard, like it's never happened before in the North Pole, like inexplicable. Like, oh no, Christmas is canceled now. There's a blizzard. What are we gonna do?
Snow.
And so then like Rudolph shines his big giant red nose and it like makes this horrible screeching sound. And Santa's like, shut that off. And then he's like, wait, that could work. And he's like, now I love you because you're useful to me. And it's just terrible.
Typical boss.
Yeah, it's terrible. And then he saves the day and he becomes this hero. Great. Like, no, you basically bullied him the whole time. I hope he crashes the sleigh. Is that dark?
That last part was a bit much.
Let's get some responses. And Bob, your thoughts on this movie?
Somebody needs to tell Rudolph to quit bitching and whining, okay? So your dad's a little tough on you, big deal, grow up. My dad used to whoop me with a leather belt. Shit, I turned out just fine, okay? His dad was hard on him, and look what he did. He turned out just fine. Now he's leading the goddamn flock. He's in the head. He's at the front of the line. Why? Because his dad was tough on him, okay?
Mm-hmm.
That's usually how it works out. You can't just bitch and moan and get to the front of the line because your daddy takes care of you all the time and doesn't give you any shit.
He's
So-
such a coach.
Yes, definitely. But
No
yeah,
gentle
that's the only
parenting.
thing. So he was a little tough on him. He'd be fine. And I love the land of misfit toys. They're badass. They're cool. They're my kind of people. Have you
Are
all-
you a misfit?
I love
did,
the
of course.
misfits. I feel bad for the misfits.
I did want to mention this though because I sent this to the guys earlier. Have you all seen the Vince Neil meme where he's the abominable snowman? It's
Yeah.
fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
I sent it to Brandon. I'm going to send it to y'all right now because I
Okay.
thought it was
do.
hilarious. But yeah, I mean, this is a classic movie from when they're kids. You're different, and even though people might judge you, whatever, you grow up and you grow out of it, and you keep moving on and keep pressing forward, and then good shit happens, right? Because screw those people. So yeah, so that's the moral of the story. They usually had a moral at the end of it.
Danielle, you don't like this movie either, right?
No, I hate it. My daughter, I was like, all right, let me see what she thinks and see if she catches up to like all the stuff. No, she's 3 and she was like, Mommy, turn it off. Like she did not even want to get more than 20 minutes in because they're so mean. How am I supposed to tell her like, it's okay if your friends to laugh at you like that? No. And poor Hermie was probably gay and was bullied for wanting to be a dentist. Like,
Not about the dentist thing.
like I want to be a dentist. No fucking elf. Like you better sit in that this workshop and work your little fingers to the bone and
He's
whittle
just trying
these
to help
boats.
people with all the
It'd probably be a sweet gig. They
problems.
look like they eat a lot of candy in the North Pole, so it'd probably be a sweet.
You
You'd probably be
know,
rich off of it.
Elf food groups like candy canes, but what
Candy corns
corns?
and syrup.
Yes, their teeth are rotting. He's trying to help everybody, and they said no. It's awful, and it just was so sad. I don't think it's a good Christmas movie. Looking back, like I think I liked it when I was a kid without really realizing what was really going on, and now I'm like, no, I can't. And maybe it's my gentle parenting as a millennial or whatever, but no. Sorry.
What about you, Joseph? Your thoughts on this movie?
I think as far as like it today being, I don't know if they still show it on TV. I think they do.
They do.
It might be
Every day, all day,
altered or edited or whatnot. I think today's kids and when is it Danielle said that her daughter she doesn't want to see it, right? I think what also comes into play is because of it's like such an old animation style that like I don't think kids care for it today. I don't think it really grabs their attention. I understand the what people say about it and the situation and the daughter that dad's telling whatever
Don't be a little bitch.
to cover it up or whatnot. And I've never really seen Santa. I get it. I get the point. Like I didn't see Santa as an asshole, but yeah, when you see it at the end, it's like he's like, oh, okay, now you need me. I've always known. I guess it was because I knew the song before I saw the movie. I knew the song, so I always knew that at some point he's going to be the hero. So it didn't affect me, I guess. And I kind of still don't see it to this day, because I know the song. In the song, he's a hero, and everybody knows it, and he saves the day. So if I going in to watch the movie for the first time, I was like, we know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. He's in a fucking kick-ass, So, but I get it. They're kind of an asshole, but to him. But in the end, he tells everybody like, look at me, like y'all are basically like y'all are basically.
I want to know what happened the following year when it was
whip
like
it out. It's going to make a noise.
I want to know what happened the following year. Like there are clear skies and no storms. Like
clear
skies. Back. You can get back in the back of the line, asshole. Don't need you this year.
Ren?
Did I hear Joseph correctly?
Yes, you did.
Yeah. What did I say?
Whip it out, it'll make noise.
That's what he said. He's like, that's what Rudolph said. He's like, look, every next year, from now on going forward,
that's
he whips
what
out
he
his
said?
Whips out his nose. It makes
I don't know if they use the word whips out.
It makes out that immaculate noise and it shines.
Now we know why she was giving him all those kisses. What was her name? Clarice?
Clarice. If it was just about like stupid kids bullying, like that'd be fine. But it's like Santa, the dad, the coach, Bob. Go ahead, Ray.
Daddy doesn't have any time for that bullshit.
So I have to start off with a question. Jenna, why weren't you at elf practice? Okay, so listen, this was 1964. If you're judging the 1964 claymation against what you saw in Across the Spider-Verse, yes, you're in for a disappointment. It took 19 people at 12 hours just to move Santa's hand to his mouth, back down to his side. Just one simple motion. 19 chain-smoking animators who didn't get to see their family for 4 years. Okay, so the fact that Hermie looks like Jason Mraz and Yukon Cornelius looks like Jason Kelsey, I'm shocked that you hate this movie. So this has been an essential part of the childhood fabric for many generations. You should have been using your imagination. This story gives you for a happy childhood, everybody. Instead of laying on your trampoline, Jenna, looking at the dark skies, listening to emo music, Rudolph makes you happy because this is Americana. I love how at the end, when Santa picks Rudolph to guide the sleigh, Donner, Rudolph's dad, tells everyone he knew Rudolph's nose would be useful someday. When in reality, when he was in reality, yeah, he was ashamed that his son made him feel like shit. So yeah, fuck you, Donner. And I love how Santa can gain 100 pounds in one night. I didn't think that was possible until I hit my mid 40s. Anyway,
Santa had that milkshake.
Santa is by far the worst villain of this movie, not the abominable snow monster that looks like Vince Neil. He cancels Christmas because of snow. I mean, why would he do that? He chastises Rudolph until he needs him. Also, the head elf who looks like WWE wrestler Taz craps on Hermes' dream to become a dentist. That's pretty rotten too. And that other elf who didn't give the bird from the Island of Misfits toys an umbrella after he jumps, he's dropping the toys off of the sled. And then
didn't they throw somebody off a cliff or some shit like that?
He threw the bird. The bird said he couldn't fly. He was giving everybody an umbrella so they could land safely. And the bird that said he couldn't fly, he was like, you know what? You're a bird. You can fucking fly. But he didn't glide,
motherfucker, glide.
But this film has everlasting themes. We talked about the bad stuff. It talks about friendship, people who were neglected, finding support with one another. It's about family. It's about understanding. And most importantly, it's about forgiveness. What I don't understand is Yukon Cornelius is packing a revolver. Why doesn't he blast away at the abominable snow monster? Anyway, despite its flaws, I think the film is so iconic. I think it's so nostalgic. It's just Americana. I don't know how to explain it. Is it bad in some context? Does it age well? No, but I think it's so nostalgic and so fun to watch that it's a classic. I actually like this movie.
Listen, you mentioned the abominable snowman, and then I realized that Hermie takes his teeth out. I just remembered that. I blocked it out. He goes, I'll fix this. And he gets pliers. And then it's like Flash. He has no teeth. That's fucked up. It's like a child's nightmare.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, great. You're taking a monster's teeth out so he can't bite you, but
that's smart. Terrible. What bothered me more was when he threw the bird off the cliff. I was like, what the fuck?
I mean, that's murder. That's terrible.
During the credits.
Bully children, but don't throw that bird off that cliff.
You can't fly.
Up next, we have Bob with his pick. Shit. Bob, what do you got for us?
Already? Jesus Christ, I should have wrote
if you read the notes, Bob.
The show notes, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to get a lot of shit from this, but I don't care because this movie is not my favorite, and I'm just kind of like shocked that so many people like it, that are at age 30 or above. I went with Elf. Okay. Nothing really good about this movie. I think the one good thing about this movie is that they brought the You'll Shoot Tryout kid from the Christmas Story. He plays an elf in the movie. I thought that was kind of cool to connect the nostalgia factor, but Will Ferrell, love Will Ferrell in SNL. I mean, best male cast member of all time. We've mentioned it. We've had a show on it. But this movie role for him just annoyed the shit out of me. He annoyed the shit out of me from the movie to the point where I'm like grinding my teeth and fuck. One of my first dates with Creative Little Pill, we went to go see this movie and oh my God, I can't stand this one. And it's him. It's not the storyline. It's not the plot. I love James Caan. It had some cool scene. I get the concept. Just Will Ferrell playing that role is just annoying as shit for me. I know a lot of people really enjoy him and oh my God, he's so childlike, but that's what bothered me the most. I don't like the character. I'm sure he ad-libbed shit the whole entire movie, so that made it like a big SNL skit, but it just wasn't for me. And another thing, what really bothered me about the movie, besides Will Ferrell acting like an asshole throughout the movie, he acts like this little kid and oh my God, and annoying as shit. But he goes on a date with Zooey Deschanel. Like, what the fuck? Is that what girls are into? You gotta act like this guy in order to get. I don't. Joseph, I don't know, but you might have to change your style, Joseph. You can get Zooey Deschanel. I know you had a crush on her back in the day. So I don't get that. Are women really into this shit? You act like a I don't know. I don't get it. So yeah, just the character himself, the elf character, Will Ferrell. That's all I have to say. Go ahead, fire away.
Jenna, your thoughts on this movie?
She's already ready. She's throwing punches at the screen and everything already.
No, I'm texting Bob. I texted him, "You have no soul." So let's start off by saying, Bob, you're completely wrong. He's an elf who's had no real life experiences. So of course he's like a grown child. He's lived at the North Pole, but he's like a human. He's silly. The adoption story is both real and imaginary, an adorable combination. Him realizing he's a human, hilarious. He passes out on a tiny elf. It's so funny.
It's funny how he's the only elf that acts like an asshole, though, like a little kid. Like there's other ones like complaining about him and smoking cigarettes in the break room, being
because
they're
elves. He's not. He's a dum-dum. And then we got like the journey from the North Pole to New York City, the most implausible story, which makes it so hilarious. For anybody of your listeners listening out there that like have ever been to Lincoln Tunnel, there's no way you would immediately die. You'd be crushed to death. You cannot walk through the Lincoln Tunnel. That makes it so funny. Santa talks about the Central Park Rangers. Hilarious. They don't exist anymore. But the fact that he talks about them, hilarious. There's so many little tidbits that are just so unrealistic, but hilarious. Me and Danielle quote this movie in our daily life.
Throughout the year,
not just Christmas. Like, look at you. When I get it. We won't talk about it, but it's probably inappropriate. When the really talented writer like jumps on the table and starts running straight at him. Hilarious.
Yes.
I love your purple dress. It's very purpley. Francisco, that's a fun name to say. Hilarious. Bob, I don't know what your problem is. You don't have a sense of humor. Leave Will Ferrell alone.
He's annoying as shit.
Let me talk a little bit about Will Ferrell. I'm going to be a little biased here. I have a soft spot for Will Ferrell movies. The last movie I watched with my best friend was Wedding Crashers. The last movie he ever saw was Stranger Than Fiction. The first movie I ever watched with my wife was Everything Must Go. So I didn't realize this, but I have a lot of personal history with Will Ferrell movies. And if you look at his filmography from like 2003 to 2013, that was a good, long, sustained apex. Those sustained comedy apexes, they don't normally last that long. You saw that with Eddie Murphy in the 80s. He had like a good 6-7 year run. Jim Carrey in the 90s, he had a good 4 or 5 year run. And in the 2000s, Will Ferrell was that guy, for better or worse. And although Old School had already been out, we knew him through SNL, and Elf was really his first lead role. I think this film works because of his commitment to it, that puppy-like enthusiasm. Who could pull it off better? Certainly not Danny McBride, right? But I think Will Ferrell pulls it off very well. If you're doing a Mount Rushmore of Will Ferrell movies, it's obviously Anchorman, Old School, and Elf. I think those are the three. You could argue the fourth, but I think when people think of Will Ferrell movies, that's one of the first three movies they name is Elf. And like I said, he had a good sustained 10-year run as a top-tier comedian and a comedic actor. The secret to a good Christmas movie is that it has to make you happy and it has to have heart. And I think Elf exemplifies both. Does it do it better than a lot of these other Christmas movies that we talked about last year? Certainly not, but I think it does it very well. I don't know how to better explain that it's just a good-natured family comedy. It checks all the boxes. It launched Jon Favreau, who now gives us everything from Marvel to Star Wars. I don't really get the hate. I think it's very avant-garde. I think it's just a good film. New York City, childlike joy, James Caan. The cast is fun. I don't know what's not to like. Danielle, what do you think?
Okay, so my husband just told me a fact about this. I didn't realize they were going to make an Elf 2.
Yes, he turned it down.
Yeah, so Jon Favreau and apparently Will Ferrell do not get along. That James Caan had said that in an interview or something.
Even he was tired of his shit.
You shush your mouth when you're talking to me.
Favreau and James Caan don't get along?
No.
Will Ferrell.
Jon Favreau and Will Ferrell don't get along.
Oh.
But that's neither here nor there. I love Elf. I just bought Elf wrapping paper. That's how much I love Elf. He's a South Pole elf, cotton-headed ninny muggins. You smell like beef and cheese.
We say that this
all the time. It is hilarious. My daughter thinks it's funny, and she's, almost 4, when he gets hit by the taxi and he apologizes. Oh, sorry. Like,
yellow ones don't stop.
Because in New York, I don't know if you've ever walked the streets of New York, they don't fucking stop. They will run you over.
I don't care if that light's red.
Picking the gum off of the railing. It's disgusting, but it's hilarious. It's all, maybe it's because we're from the New York area and we can relate to like being in the city and like how people just don't give a fuck of someone walking down the street dressed as an elf.
Congratulations, you did it.
World's best cup of coffee. Yeah, like I guess it's just relatable to us, but It's my feel good Christmas movie. I watch it all the time.
And then wait, I'm going to interrupt Danielle. Then
What the fuck?
Then you have the ending where the really mean James Caan, grumpy old dad, like comes around. He's the reason why Christmas spirit like hikes it up a notch, and then Santa sleigh's able to come on. It's like the perfect everything.
Right. It's back to what we talked about a good Christmas movie, bringing you back to your childhood, believing in Santa and making his sleigh fly. Come on,
James
just
Caan was
doesn't-
better in The Godfather.
That's neither here nor there. It's two different genres.
Get it together, Bob.
What about you,
Terrible.
Joseph?
I agree with Bob to where I've just kind of grown numb to the whole Will Ferrell thing. Just I know Randy mentioned that it was his first, or pretty much his first, because he did Night at the Roxbury, but he co-starred with that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of his first, lead role, but then everything after that was just kind of all the same character, and he's kind of like not gotten away from that. Generally don't even care about any of his new movies nowadays because of just how he acts. True to what Bob said, one of the greatest SNL cast members ever. So watching this the first time, okay, fine. It was cool. It's a nice movie, The plot is actually pretty cool. A situation where a kid gets lost and, it's accidentally get raised in the North Pole. Like I understand that, tries to go home, find his family, find his dad. It's more because I'm tired of, I know it's not going to come out on it comes out on every list of like best movie. And I didn't find a list that put this one on worst, but it's more of I don't think it's the worst. I definitely don't think it's the best. I personally can't stand to watch it. And that's
because of Will Ferrell.
Yes, that's probably where it is. It's a nice story. It's a happy ending. It's a cool thing. It kind of goes to the fact that like, well, people, like I know Danielle and Jenna said, he's raised by, he grew up at the North Pole and he's got this, it's different, like, but none of the other elves act as silly as he does. So it's kind of like,
grow the fuck up. I'm just kidding. I'm just saying this to piss everybody off.
The only elves that don't act like him are his boss. Like all the other ones are like cheersing with milk on Christmas and like jumping up and down.
Maybe it's because
fun and cheerful.
Maybe it's because they the size that he is, because he's supposed to be human and they're all not that size. So the contrast of that kind of helps.
I think
denial.
I think if they got like a teenage kid to like do this, like a teenage actor to play the role, I think it would have been. I think I would be more like inclined to not be as annoyed. But since it's Will Ferrell doing his Will Ferrell thing the entire movie,
I love Will Ferrell.
I think a lot of the Will Ferrell hate is a reflective comparison to his future films, rather than looking solely at Elf as a singular piece of work. Because yes, Will Ferrell does a lot of over the top stuff, and you either love him or you hate him. But I think this role, we weren't like, comparing what he did in the future. We were just solely based on what we knew of him from SNL and from Old School. So I think the fact that he pulled off like this childlike character, and Bob, you said maybe a younger actor would have been better suited for this role, but I don't know. I can't think of anybody that could be that comedically funny and enchanting and just, off the walls crazy than Will Ferrell. I think he was the perfect person at the perfect time.
I'm gonna have to agree to disagree because he's annoying.
Definitely not the best. I know people, the girls just said that they love it. It's one of their favorite ones. I don't think it's the worst. I just can't stand it.
Sometimes you just need like a silly movie to get your mind off of your own trouble.
I saw
for sure. That's Three Amigos.
I saw the play. I did see that.
You saw the play?
There was like a musical. I saw it. They came down here.
Yeah, you're right.
You don't like the movie, but you saw the musical?
It was free.
Because Will Ferrell wasn't.
He wasn't.
And Will Ferrell wasn't in it.
It was they were opening up this brand new
convention center.
No, the Performance Arts Center.
Okay,
really nice, by the way. And this is one of the first plays that they brought down. I had free tickets up in the front. I was like, sure, fuck it.
Wait, so Joseph, you like plays?
Yeah, I like theater.
Yeah, we like live music.
So now he's really moving here. Okay, we got the plays, but now we've secured.
We have plays down here too.
No, you don't have Broadway, motherfucker.
But that's in New York. Y'all don't live in New York. Y'all live in Philly.
1 hour away.
And y'all have the Eagles and the Phillies. I mean, come on.
He can root for whatever team he wants to root for.
Yeah, I guarantee you it's.
We'll move on to Joseph's selection. Joseph, you got selection for us. What do you got? Worst Christmas movie?
I chose I chose the Santa Claus 3, the escape clause. So the synopsis is Santa, aka Scott Calvin, is faced with the double duty of trying to keep his new family happy and how to stop the conniving, backstabbing Jack Frost from taking over Christmas. I don't think anybody here disagrees that the first Santa Claus movie was a hit. It was great.
Not me. I don't like it.
No, that was his honorable mentions.
Yeah.
He did not like it.
You didn't like the first Santa Claus?
I didn't really care for. I don't like Tim Allen. I'll get to it. But
all right,
go.
So,
but he loves Will Ferrell.
So we got So we got the second one, and in my opinion, it was it was like a welcome sequel. It really was a good concept. Santa Claus needs his Mrs. Claus. Sure, let's make it happen. The characters, it was a nice little. I thought it was going to be a nice little send off. Part 2. That should have been it. But no, with both movies making well more than their reported budgets. Why not? Let's throw some money at everybody and let's get a third one. And this is what we got. Props for being able to bring back pretty much everybody from the first and second movies. That's great. And also again, the addition of some new characters, mainly the great Martin Short. Love it. Should have been a recipe for success, right? It was perfect. It was a reported $12 million budget with a box office return of 110 million. That's successful. The film itself, I believe, is overtly over the top with the slapstick comedy stuff. The scenes are very rushed. The characters are dumb as fuck. Tim Allen's original Santa Claus performance, I believe, took a bit of his personal comedy from, like the 80s. The arrogance of Tim Taylor. And we had this, wisecracking, fun-loving Santa from the first one. That's great. Love Martin Short. Like I said, I love him. But this portrayal, which is described as an evil cross between Liza Minnelli and Liberace, whether it was his choice or not, it was a bit way over the top for me at times, to the point where now if I watch this movie, I'm thinking to myself, please, somebody just slap him, like slap the shit out of this guy. And he's a bit of an asshole and nobody seems to know what he's up to. I just don't get it. It's just really a bunch of nonsense and crap. Don't even get me started on the little girl. I'm sorry. I forgot to write about this, but I just remembered her. The little girl, the niece or whatever from the second one, and she comes back for the third one. That's great. You're going to tell me this little girl can cure evil Cancer with magic hugs? Like what is that? Like, seriously, all Jack Frost needed was a magic hug so that he wasn't acting like a dick to everybody. It's stupid. It's a really shiny piece of clean cut crap. This one's just really, really way on the kiddie side, I guess, of it, and I didn't dig it very much. I loved this quote by Erid ERID D Schneider. She this person wrote
from Twisted Sister.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
So Tim Allen did the Santa Claus the first time with enthusiasm, the second time with affection, and the third time for a paycheck. And I think that says it all. I think so. It is what it is. I've seen the new series, and it's an improvement over the third movie, most definitely. But I still think it's a bit silly and annoying at times. As much as I love, seeing me some Elizabeth Mitchell, Mrs. Claus, who still looks amazing. The series should have ended with the second movie, and this whole thing should be done. That's my pick.
You could have picked any of the Santa Claus movies, Joseph. I couldn't tell you the difference between any of them. I'm sorry. As far as like murderous villains needing hugs, I'll ask Jenna and Danielle. Did Jeffrey Dahmer just need a hug? I don't know.
His mom wasn't around. We never know, Randall.
A hug wouldn't have fixed that nut job.
I do know that Tim Allen is an asshole. His co-star Casey Wilson on the Santa Clauses, that current series on Netflix, said Tim Allen is such a bitch. She mentioned on a podcast, so I'm in a scene and it's just me and Tim Allen and I'm supposed to be throwing things at him. Wilson recalled during the podcast episode. I think he's a burglar. So he's coming down the chimney, obviously as Santa, and I'm woken up thinking that he's an intruder. So it's a home invasion scene, right? So I'm throwing things at him. She continued, and he goes over to the producer who is standing 4 feet from me and goes, and I hear him. He says, "You got to tell her to stop stepping on my lines." The producer turns to me with horror on his face and has to walk 1 foot in front of me and goes, Tim would ask that you stop stepping on his lines. Of course, Tim Allen bullying the director. Of course, this is his series. I imagine he was like this for all 3 Santa Claus movies.
I mean, how old is he now compared to then? I mean, he's just a cranky old ass dude. You know what I mean? He probably wasn't like that back in.
There's no excuse for that behavior. That's puto behavior. Anyway,
well, I think you think that word means something else.
Between the conspicuous popularity of the Santa Claus franchise, the Toy Story franchise, and Home Improvement, Tim Allen, he's carved himself a pretty comfortable life. Not bad for a guy who served 28 months in federal prison for drug trafficking. Most former inmates might get to be baristas at Starbucks with stock options, but Tim made it to the top. I mean, good for him and good for people like him and Danny Trejo. By the way, Tim Allen and Jim Varney as Ernest are the only two people who have gone to jail and saved Christmas. The Santa Claus 3 was one of those movie franchises that never stopped. It decided to take the leap, decided to keep going instead of that stutter step. They decided to just make a totally different movie independent of the first two. They brought in, this council of legendary figures. Of course, Martin Short, who we all love as Jack Frost, just wasn't great in this movie. I love Martin Short, and the movie was not for him. And he was bad in this movie. He was overacting. His line delivery was annoying. I don't know. I just don't like any of the franchise movies that much. I think Tim Allen phones it in. Too much time had passed between the second and the third one. So they're trying to introduce a whole new generation, but they have no chemistry in this cast. At least the farting reindeer and Judge Reinhold were okay. Scrap everything else. Because, yeah, I agree, Joseph. I don't think this movie was good at all. What do you think, Danielle?
The weenie whistle.
The weenie whistle. I forgot about that. No, I'm never a fan of sequels. And like a Christmas movie shouldn't have sequels. Like, why do you need, tell me one story and that's it. Okay. You don't need to continue. So I'm with you. The first one I liked, even though, yeah, Randall, you're right. He wasn't like a very nice guy. He was a grumpy dad. Even though like the spirit of Christmas came out him in the end. Good. Woohoo. But why did we need another one? And even though we had Martin Short and Alan Arkin, rest in peace, it didn't do much. And this magic snow globe, if I'm remembering at the end, right? I mean, who the fuck cares? Like, just be done with it. Walk away. Call it a day. I don't even remember watching the second one because I was just not interested at all. Wasn't he like dating? That's a weird plot too. Why is Santa dating?
He needs a Mrs. Claus.
He is more than just milk and cookies, if you know what I mean.
He's going on all these blind dates. And at that point, he like retained all the weight. And that's not a cute look. He's got the rosy cheeks and the nose. Like, who the fuck actually wants to date Santa? That's a weird thing. That's a weird fetish. So now he's got...
So it's better Buddy the Elf gets ass than Santa Claus. Is that what we're saying here?
I mean...
Listen, they were very innocent, Bob. Leave Elf alone.
So the third one, he's married. He has another kid. Poor Charlie, his first son, he's like manager or something. I don't know what the fuck he does, but you never see him. You don't hear from him. He was like the heart and soul of the first movie. Not good. Not good to me. It did nothing for me. Like I said, sequels are never good, except for Mighty Ducks 2. But that's it.
No, I also hate it. I don't disagree with Joseph on this one. Love Martin Short, love Alan Arkin. But it was a stupid plot. Like all the what are they called? The legendary figures that come to be the
Father Time is the dad. Everybody loves Raymond.
Yes. Yeah, and who's the sleepy one that falls asleep?
Yeah, Peter Boyle from Young Frankenstein.
It's just really, really, really bad. I don't understand what Randall's problem is with Santa Claus 1. I love that movie. I love Tim Allen though, so whatever. Don't hate on Buzz Lightyear. So my kids also love the new series, the Santa Clauses. It's so bad, but they love it and I don't mind it.
I did not like Home Improvement though. Like Tim Allen in Home Improvement was great.
You didn't like Heidi? Come on.
Oh yeah, Heidi, no, he was great. He was great in Home Improvement.
Okay.
All right. We'll gloss over that. The one thing I do hate about the Santa Claus is that 2 and 3 is that Elizabeth Mitchell, Mrs. Claus. I just can't get over.
I hate her.
He was such a meanie in the Lost series, TV show series, and I just can't get over it. And I hate her face.
I hate her face.
Why do you hate all the girls that I think are pretty?
She's pretty.
What's fucked up is she got duped into marrying him. He's like, if you don't marry me, then the kids don't get in all the world don't get. That is kind of true. She was like, well, fuck, I guess.
She's so flat affect and like monotone. Like, did you watch the show Lost? She was so boring and unappealing. Oh my god, why Sawyer, my love?
Okay,
fell in love with
you're
her.
getting on.
All right. Christmas.
But like back to the Santa Claus presents. What you'll understand, like if you, which I've sadly watched all of it, is that he's the first like human Santa. So that's why he has to get married. Yeah. That's why he has kids. No other Santa before him. That neither here nor there. Santa Claus 3 sucks. The end.
Yeah, I agree. Santa Claus 3 does suck. I think Santa Claus 2 sucks as well, though. So I mean, and they might take a little something from it. Santa Claus 2 was pretty bad. At least you had Martin Short, aka Ned Niederlander, in that movie. So I know Randy said he did terrible, but I mean, it's better. It's better than the same fucking movie, like part 2. They're making a part 3. At least there was something different to it. You had Martin Short to kind of like laugh at or like shake your head like, oh, that was terrible, dude. But at least there was some kind of comic relief that was different than just Tim Allen making his cookie jokes or whatever. But yeah, bad movie. Good choice, Joseph.
All right, moving right along. Danielle, you're up. Worst Christmas
Noel.
All right. So I picked Fred Claus.
No soul.
Right off the bat, my mom, as I'm driving here, she was like, oh, so what was your pick? And I said, Fred Claus. She goes, never heard of it. Okay, so that should just tell you. People don't know it. And then I asked Kieran, Jenna's husband, when I walked in, I was like, do you ever see Fred Claus? He goes, no, I never saw it. People don't want to see it. It is terrible, okay? It has a decent cast, right? I mean, Kevin Spacey's canceled. But back when this aired in 2005 or 7 or whenever it was, he was not canceled. I never really liked him. I mean, Usual Suspects, cool, but I'm out with everything else.
7.
Elizabeth Banks, Rachel Weisz, like
Paul Giamatti,
right?
Yeah.
Good people.
Paul Giamatti
Sucked. Plotline was awful. Okay. So it's just weird. Vince Vaughn, cool. He plays a similar character. I think someone said that tonight that Will Ferrell plays a similar character in all of his movies. Vince Vaughn, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like, he has this attitude about him, and it's similar to the movie The Breakup, which I hate, where he's just like holier than thou and like, why do you fucking hate your brother so much? Okay, so it starts in the Middle Ages. Okay, I have an issue with that because now it's present day. Why are you this age? Why do you look like this? That doesn't make sense. The timeline's not adding up, right? And then he hates his brother because when they were kids, he cut down his tree house that he was making like a little house for his best friend bird named Chirp Chirp. Okay. Let's leave that there. Chirp Chirp. Okay. Dumb. It's just all around bad. He's not nice to his girlfriend. He doesn't want to take her to Paris. And then he's like this whole, I hate my brother for the rest of my life until, I don't even care how they resolve it in the end. And then flash forward a year and now they're all happy. And then he ends up, Chirp Chirp has a house at the end of the movie.
Does it? Really?
And then his best friend, who's like a young kid, gets adopted because he was an orphan. And like, it has a happy ending. But overall, it's just a dumb movie. Why do I care about this man, grown man who should be like Middle Ages to present day? I still don't get how
like Will Ferrell.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Papa Elf is, what did he say? That he was like 350. I don't know. But yeah, the timeline is weird. Vince Vaughn, loved you in Wedding Crashers, but you didn't do it for me in this movie. I really good cast. Someone wrote on a website, it says, this is one gift best left unwrapped. And yeah, that was
what I told her.
That was well put. There you go. Well, right. I just, no, thank you. Done.
No, thank you.
Joseph, your thoughts on this movie?
Yeah, no, like it's funny, the comparisons between Elf and this. I mean, obviously 2 different movies, but just that whole that was totally agree with what Danielle said about that. Just it's the same thing with Vince Vaughn. Like, it's the same kind of character. It wasn't until you mentioned the Breakup, which I did see that movie. I'm like, yeah, that's right. It's basically the same thing. It's the same, and that's sad because I liked Vince Vaughn. He had a good run of good movies with some funny performances and whatnot. Yeah, Swingers is the greatest. But after all, if he's doing these like slapstick comedy things, and that's very much what this is like. I don't see. I don't know. As far as portrayals of Santa, if you're going to do a Christmas movie, you got to have at least a decent portrayal. And I know that can, that could be set up the same thing about, Tim Allen and just anybody who plays portrayal. Paul Giamatti, right?
Mm-hmm.
As Santa, I don't see it at all. So that kind of goes sideways for me as well.
No pun.
Great movie.
Yes.
I knew he was in that.
Unexpectedly.
Great movie.
I just rewatched it last night.
I don't know how Ray beat them out.
Not having any fucking Merlot.
Yeah, we're
But
not
sometimes I watch movies because an actress that I find attractive is in them. I've been a fan of Rachel.
Website for that.
Yes.
I've been a fan. Jesus Christ.
Incognito
I've been a fan of
Googles.
Rachel Weisz forever. And so I watched it. Love Elizabeth Banks as well, of course.
Yes.
It just doesn't work. Yeah, I understand it. Like, that whole time thing is really weird too. I can't watch it again.
No.
I don't want to watch it again.
I watched it once and that was it.
So definitely a solid pick there.
Thank you.
This is the same thing. It's basically the same argument I made for Will Ferrell for Vince Vaughn. You know, Vince Vaughn has one character, the Swingers character, Wedding Crashers. Like everything that he does, he plays a similar character, like Danny McBride and like Will Ferrell. So he played his character. It's just him. You know what I mean? And the movie was, it's okay. You know, had a great cast. Yeah, there was a funny scene though when the elves kick his ass. I thought that was really funny when he reaches for something in his pocket like a tissue because he sneezes. That was a fucking funny scene. Beth, again, from 40-Year-Old Virgin. She's hot. She's great. Does a great job in that show. It's more believable that she'd be in love with Vince Vaughn than the new girl being in love with fucking Will Ferrell, goofy-ass Will Ferrell in that movie. Doesn't make sense. The one thing I will say is Ludacris lost all street cred doing this fucking movie, playing an elf and the DJ. I don't know why the fuck he would do that. Like, you're trying to be serious and become an actor and you decide to do a children's Christmas movie when you're singing about, like, you know, you ever read the lyrics to Saturday? Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's my 2 cents on the movie.
I just watched another Christmas movie with Paul Giamatti, The Holdovers. Far superior than this one. Great movie. Check it out. I agree. This movie was a waste of his talent because I love Paul Giamatti. He's one of my favorite actors. I think Vince Vaughn is over two in the Christmas movie department that we've discussed so far. Producers just like putting him in sweaters. He was just miscast in this movie. And I love Vince Vaughn. I think he's had a great career, but I always feel he's always chasing Trent from Swingers. It's very rare that a star of his magnitude was in all these big movies, yet his breakout role is the one that's most remembered. It's very different. I mean, nobody talks about Tom Cruise Risky Business. It's all about Top Gun and everything that comes after, but with Vince Vaughn, it's about his first breakout role, and he's always Trent from Swingers in some form or fashion because that's what people want to see. So I watched this movie on a first date in 2007. Very odd date. She suggested this movie. I think we met briefly in the lobby because we were late for the movie. We rushed in because the film was about to start. After the movie, we exited the theater and we said our goodbyes. She's from the Valley, so she had to go pick up her 3 kids from 2 different fathers. Anyway, somewhere
someone's bitter.
somewhere in this world, I shared this movie with somebody who I cannot pick out of a police lineup because I don't remember what she looked like. This movie was so bad, we decided to eliminate all evidence of our association of it together. We treated like, you know, we planned the Kennedy assassination together. Let's just watch it and let's not be together anymore. I don't want to know your name, your face. Just sit with me for 2 hours and let the carnage unfold.
Jesus
Anyway,
the movie did it for you.
Excuse yourself to the restroom and go home.
The sad thing about this movie, it is a loaded cast. Vance, Giamatti, Banks, John Michael
Kathy
Higgins,
Bates.
Kathy Bates, Rachel Weisz, Kevin Spacey before we found out how gross he was. This was also a good plot. Santa's bitter older brother is forced to move to the North Pole to help Santa, and the elves prepare for Christmas in exchange for cash. That's funny. You read that's a funny plot, but the movie doesn't work at all. The movie doesn't know what to do with it, what it wants to be. It's contrived. It's unbalanced. I think it's a good choice. Bad movie. What do you think, Jenna?
No, I agree. I don't really know how to follow that, Randall. You did such a good job explaining it. A great ensemble. It just didn't lack any joy. It was just people taking advantage of people. It didn't have any like magic that makes you feel like good and warm and fuzzy for the Christmas season. It's just bad. And I don't know how that went so wrong with a cast like that.
You know, no one spoke up and was like, hey,
This seems like it
maybe
sucks.
we should change the storyline. I don't want to be associated with this film. I'm sure they all say that was their worst film that they've ever done.
Well, Kathy Bates did do The Waterboy, so I don't know if she'd.
God, Waterboy is a beautiful fucking movie.
Yeah, but she definitely regrets doing that fucking movie. Not the paycheck though. Just
Joseph, you want to ask a question about this movie?
Yeah, I just because he did Fred Claus, came out in 2007.
Talking about Vince Vaughn?
Yeah, his next movie in 2008, according to his credits, is Four Christmases.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I have
Same
a thing. I watched Four Christmases last night.
Basically the same. I mean, obviously. Okay, go ahead, Danielle.
No. You finished. Go ahead.
No, I was just like, which one would you rather watch? And isn't he just literally playing the same character in a different situation?
Right. Again, he's an asshole boyfriend in Four Christmases.
Totally.
And I watched it last night, and
you did.
I did. He's a dick. Like, I don't get it. And I would like that movie because I like Reese Witherspoon, and it's just funny to see all the different families. Also, I think it's weird that they're traveling to 4 different houses in one day. And like, how do they all live within driving distance, but they still spend like 3 to 4 hours at everybody's house, and it's not like the next day. It's all within like a 12-hour time frame. I don't understand.
I like how everybody's named after the places that they were conceived.
Oh, Orlando. Yeah. I know, that is funny. No, but again, he's playing like the dick boyfriend.
So you'd rather watch
I don't understand my girlfriend. I can't get on her level. I'm going to do what I want to do.
They just really screwed a good idea. They really could have done something with this movie. So I respect the pick. To conclude, my selection for worst Christmas movie is Home Alone 3. So Home Alone 2 was enough of a money grab. I have my issues with that film, but at least it gave us New York, the Talk Boy, Tim Curry, and Piers Morgan as the pigeon lady. Home Alone 3 was like that generic knockoff cereal you find at the bottom shelf of every grocery store aisle. You know, the one, the brand that comes in bags, the brand that they use for public school breakfast in mid-90s growing up through hard times rap videos. The brands that just say Loops instead of Fruit Loops, and Loops is spelled Lupes. There's no Toucan Sam. It's just the word bird on the side of the bag. Anyway, trilogies are difficult, and we talked about trilogies beforehand with your pick, Joseph. We've seen so many of them fail and drop off on the third film. You have to offer up something new for us to stay invested. So many movies fall into that trap, and instead of getting something cool like Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, you get Big Mama's House 3 like Father Like Son. And I think this fell into that trap. I'm not going to go after the kid, Alex Linz, who's trying to follow up perhaps the greatest child actor of the 90s, Macaulay Culkin. And those are huge shoes to fill. So I'm not going to go after him. I actually didn't think he was terrible, but you cannot follow Culkin. The only kid that could have pulled it off is maybe Elijah Wood or Haley Joel Osment, and Haley Joel Osment still looks like he shouldn't be left home alone. Anyway, trivia. They wanted Macaulay Culkin to do this film and reprise his role as Kevin, but he declined. I mean, really? This was 1996, so Culkin was already 16 years old. At that age, you don't need slingshots and flamethrowers to keep people away. You just have to put the sock on the doorknob, and they'll know that you're handling business. Anyway, yes, real helpless, shaved stubble, and he's on his 3rd drug habit by then. Yeah, that's going to be a great movie. They also wanted Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern back. Both obviously said no. Joe Pesci said, if anyone's going to beat the shit out of me with a bat, it's going to be 5 Italian guys in a cornfield and not this new kid with a bowl cut. Anyway, they overstocked the bad guys. 4 internationally wanted criminals trying to give it a die-hard flavor. None of these characters were fleshed out like Harry and Marv. They didn't have the charisma. They didn't have the acting chops. They were stupid, bumbling stereotypes. And these are all international spies who are getting outsmarted by a 4th grader. You don't care to hate these individuals like you care to hate Harry and Marv. And you hate Harry and Marv so much that you actually love them. You just know that they are bad because they are terrorists. That's all you know. No story, no logic. They just need this computer chip from this kid's toy car. It's poor, it's lazy, it's unimaginative, it's a rehash of the first. The first 2 movies worked because A, they had heart, B, they were sweet, and C, there was an emotional payoff. They also had superior acting. The reason why Joe Pesci and Daniel Stern can get away with being bumbling, stupid criminals is because they built it through story, chemistry, and artistry. We can forgive seeing Marv's skeleton when he's being electrocuted because he's earned it. In this movie, we are forced with everything. The kid, the bland storyline, the horrible bad guys. Nobody's watching Home Alone 3 for Christmas. The only person who survived this catastrophe was Scarlett Johansson. I mean, I think Macaulay Culkin's the best child actor of all time. To ask another kid to do this was unfair, but those are my thoughts on Home Alone 3.
I agree. It's terrible. I think it says a lot when Marv and Harry and Macaulay don't want to, I don't know Marv and Harry's real name. Oh, Joe Pesci and the other guy. But if once you get that trio out of it, you should just stop. Like, why are you beating a dead horse here? It was so good, hilarious. The slapstick, like, comedy of it all was so good. And then you went and ruined it. You just, like, they're still making them. There's no reason. Stop making it. It's played out. It's overdone. It's lost its magic. It's over. Bury it.
Jesus,
Bury it.
Breaking up with somebody. Yeah, I agree with that. You know, the only thing I would agree with your pick 1,000,000%, Rand. The only thing that kind of holds it back is that they made a Home Alone 4 and Home Alone 5, and they just keep making these fucking ridiculous movies with the same exact concept, and it doesn't make sense to me. You know, I think the movies get worse and worse and worse, and there's probably a lot of people out there that are like, man, they made a Home Alone 4 and they made a Home Alone 5. Yeah, I think they recently released one like a couple of years ago. They're just rehashing the same storyline, and, you know, kids on his own and kids fighting back against criminals. I agree with everything that you said. The Hans Gruber shitty, you know, bad guy that you don't really care about, and that he's like overacting as well. There were a lot of these things, you know. Kevin hit the dudes with paint cans. This guy was throwing like a bench press set out a window, and like, this little bastard couldn't throw that shit out. Give me a break. Or like, and if he did hit him with it out coming out of a 2-story window, he's probably killing somebody. So, but yeah, I agree, man. If they stopped at Home Alone 3 and they hadn't made 4 and 5 and they continued on with the series, I definitely would have been 100% being like, dude, you're right, completely, you're 100%. But because of those movies, I think they're just as bad, if not worse, than Home Alone 3.
And you know, Danielle, John Hughes wrote this one as well. But what do you think about? Do you think it was a big drop off? Did you care for the second one or even the first one?
I love 1 and 2, and, you know, like I said already, like, no sequels, but 1 and 2, very good. But now you have a different cast, so you really can't even call it Home Alone 3. Call it something else. Like, it's not the same cast. It's not the same movie. If it was with at least one of the main characters, fine, you could call it Home Alone 3. If he was his fucking cousin, you know, whatever. But he's not. Who is this kid? No one knows him. He's not a kid on the street that he passed by, whatever. He didn't pass on his tips of, hey, this is how you catch the burglars. No, Marv's not in it. Which, by the way, I saw a meme the other day and was like, when you realize Marv is the same age as you, he is my current age. And
Jesus Christ.
I want to die. Like, I mean, maybe he just looked really bad, but
he looked awful in that movie.
The skeleton thing.
I'm the same age as the old man with a shovel, by the way. Just so you know.
Shovels of salt. I definitely got to mention this, Rand. You know, they made a Home Alone 4 and French Stewart played the Marv character. Just go check it out.
Yeah,
and it's fucking terrible. And he's playing the Marv character. So they brought back the character. They just thought French Stewart with his, you know, blinking small eyes would
blinking small eyes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Do you have anything else, Danielle?
I forgot about the skeleton part.
Skeleton thing always like scared me when I was a kid, but it's like, those are classics. And how many times can I watch, you know, a burglar being taunted by a young child? All right. It's not realistic anymore. Okay. Move on. I understand Macaulay Culkin became a super weirdo, and like maybe that's why he didn't.
Leave him
Jenna,
alone. He had a really bad childhood. He got his start.
Heard him on a podcast.
So did Rudolph.
7 years ago, and he said some fucking weird shit. I don't know. He's a strange bird, okay? And it's probably just being a child actor and having like all of your siblings being actors and whatever.
Colkin, amazing.
I like Kieran Culkin. Anyway, it's not Home Alone 3 is not it. Good pick. Move on. Call it something else.
Yeah, I didn't even. Bob said some very true stuff as far as Home Alone 4. I'm sorry, I just wanted to put that out there.
True.
No, I didn't even go into why like I had put it on the list. Yeah, so it's Kevin's parents are divorcing in part 4, and he goes to live with his dad. And yes, French Stewart is playing Marv, who has a new like. It's just completely stupid. Anyway, why would you do that? Why would you divorce his parents? Anyway, I'm going
because he worked for the mob. You seen the house?
Yeah. Okay. So Home Alone 3, like Randy, I agree. I don't fault the kid. You know, I think this kid had a pretty decent career while he was acting as a young kid. I don't know what he's doing nowadays, but this isn't his first movie as far as I remember.
Yeah. I remember him in a couple of movies. I don't think he's done anything since he's been an adult.
Yeah. So it's not Home Alone. It's not Home Alone because it has no connection to any of the original two or any of the family members. Like Danielle mentioned, they're not cousins. They're not anything to this family. And I don't know if this helps you or hurts you. It doesn't take place during Christmas or leading up to Christmas. It takes place after Christmas, like 2 or 3 weeks after Christmas. That's when this movie takes place. If it's associated as a Christmas movie, I don't know if saying that helps you. That. Yeah, I don't know if it helps your argument or not. You can't call it a Christmas movie because it's not a Christmas movie. It doesn't take place during Christmas.
But doesn't he have the lights up and the
because
Christmas
it takes
tree?
place like, you know, like a
He has chicken pox. It's not for Christmas.
It takes place maybe at the most 2 weeks after Christmas happens. I'm trying
let's say 2 days to help me.
No, well, if me saying
it's not a Christmas movie, sir. It came out in July.
But it's associated with Christmas movies, so maybe that helps it.
It's more of a Christmas movie than Die Hard.
I haven't seen this movie in a long time, but I did see it a few times. I don't really recall situations where he's actually home alone. I believe his mom is there a lot, like when things are going down. When the international criminals, I think, didn't they like rent a house down the street from him or something like that? I don't recall him ever really being by himself. He looks like he's 9 years old or 8 years old. Why would he be by himself?
Kevin was 7.
but he was left at home.
Imagine
he was left at home.
Yeah, I think he was 9.
Get on a flight. Yeah, it's just horrible. Don't call it Home Alone. He's never really home alone. It's not the same in any way. I did agree. Like, I never thought about that, Randy. Like, yeah, they was it 4 criminals acting stupid. The one guy, the ringleader, didn't he play like, he kind of reminds me of the priest from like an Exorcist movie or something. I don't remember who it was.
An old priest or a young priest.
Oh,
what the fuck?
But yeah, no, it's kind of a stupid plot. I believe it's the only person you remember from this movie is, I think it was Scarlett Johansson's first role. It's predictable. It's cheesy. There's way too many bad guys. Same concept. This kid can rig traps and do whatnot. And then he's not even like the kid. Yeah. It's not really Christmas, but it is Christmas. So it's associated with Christmas, and that kind of hurts it as well. So it's just a big mess.
When we see when we watch these holiday movies, they have to have a certain effect to us because the rewatchability is always going to be prevalent with Christmas movies. You want to watch them, you want to rewatch them, you want to introduce them to your children, you want to make sure and have it playing around when you're wrapping gifts and all that stuff. So these are very important movies. So let's get our last thoughts on Christmas movies. Since Danielle and Jenna, you're our guests. What are your last thoughts on Christmas movies?
Even the bad ones we rewatch. Like I said, I don't like The Holiday that much, but I still watch it. Oh, and I thought of you, Randall. I was watching The Family Stone, and like that movie, just like Jenna said, Jack Frost. It's so sad, but I can't not watch it every year.
No, I actually can't watch it. First of all, that should have been an honorable mention. The guy falls in love with with his fiance's sister.
That's hilarious.
No. So
from the second he goes, and then I had a dream about you last night.
And then the brother, then the brother has sex with his brother's fiance. So fucked up, that movie. That's an honorable mention. I can't watch that. It's too sad. Then the mom dies. No, thank you.
That's Christmas to me.
No.
The dysfunction of family is Christmas to me.
No. To get me in the Christmas spirit, I need The Christmas Story or Christmas Vacation, not the Christmas.
Yes.
Christmas Vacation. I need Scrooged. I need Just Friends, Joseph.
Just Friend and Scrooge and Christmas Vacation are my top 3.
And I'm sorry, Randall, I need a Santa Claus. I need me some Tim Allen. There you go.
For the record,
he would not talk to you directly, but go ahead.
Okay.
For the record,
he can't. He has so much Botox in his face, he can only look in one direction.
Since you mentioned Just Friends, almost went with it. My selection was going to be based purely on the fact that there's not really anything Christmassy about it.
So many Christmassy things.
It's a hilarious movie. I love this movie. Yes, but it's it's a movie about one man's quest to bang the chick that wouldn't give him the time of day, and even though they were friends in high school, and it's got the little revenge plot to it, so to speak, and the hijinks that lead up to that. I love the movie. It's a funny movie. Love it. But
glad you didn't.
Doesn't scream Christmas to me.
Amy
and that's kind of
Smart's dad has the Christmas decorations.
Amy Smart is hot. Well,
in that movie? Yes. No? Is that too quick?
What was that?
What?
Jeez.
Do you think Amy Smart is hot?
Of course.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
They're not gonna say a chick's ugly, Danielle. They'll get canceled. They'll just like Kevin.
No, we've said about.
I'll say it's not for me, but no, she's definitely
right,
for me.
Not for me.
Sounds like super. What was it? Jeez, what's the name of the movie, dude?
Oh, all the women in that movie are beautiful.
No, super bad. He's like, you ever seen that? But it's not for me. That's what it reminded me of. Super bad. Christmas movies, man. You got to see Christmas Vacation. You have to see Home Alone. You have to see Christmas Story on Christmas Day. That's like totally reserved for Christmas Day. Why? Because they show it on TBS like a million fucking times back to back to back. I love that scene where they go to the Chinese restaurant, they cut off the goose's neck or the duck's neck. I thought that was great. Yeah, those movies are staples. The Santa Claus is cool, but I mean, like, I could do without it, dude. I get it, Rand. But yeah, between the good ones and the bad ones, it's got to be something like you want to drink to and enjoy, or you want to sit with your kids and enjoy, like the regular Grinch, the cartoon version of Grinch. I think that's great. There's just certain movies where you're like, I can't sit through that.
What about the Cumberbatch one? What's your thoughts on the Benedict Cumberbatch?
That's a good one. That's a good one. I like
my daughter
than the original.
Yeah.
My daughter's obsessed with that one.
I think that's
the newest one, right?
Yeah. The animated
we love that one. Yeah, we watched it last night.
Yeah.
The kids love it. I think it's really funny.
I also watched a movie called Family Switch with Ed Helms, and
I just watched that too.
Yeah, that's good. I liked it. I thought it was a good Christmas movie.
Yeah, I couldn't get through it.
Yeah, it was okay. I liked it. I mean, it wasn't like one of the best Christmas movies. What's her name? She's
Jennifer Garner.
Jennifer Garner. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, where they all switch places.
Yeah.
It's like I like it in the Hot Chick, but other than that, no.
Guys, let's wrap up. Hopes for 2024. It could be about you. It could be about your podcast. What are some of the things you're hoping for in 2024?
Hoping to hang out with you guys, not in Texas.
Oh. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. We'll make it happen. Yes. Next year, we'll make it happen.
Anybody else? 2024. 2024.
Oh, Jen, what do you got?
I just want to win the lottery. Is that realistic?
Jenna and Dina are just talking about it all the time.
Just want me and Dina, Little Pill, just want to quit our jobs and just like, I don't know, just do something.
We're going to Vegas in a few months, so hopefully we hit we win it big over this. We can just quit our jobs and enjoy our lives.
Yeah,
put it on black, baby.
What about you, Bob?
On black. I don't know, man. I hope 2024 is better than 2023. I don't think 2023 was terrible. I just think it was pretty good, but I would like a little more adventurous and more trips. I'd like to enjoy myself when we go to Vegas, win some money. That'd be cool. I just kind of want to chill out and take more trips, dude. I want to have some more fun in 2024. That's my goal.
It sounds like you guys need to come to the Northeast.
We'll go to Philly. Yes, we'll go to Philly.
What about you, Joseph? Hopes for 2024. Love and marriage.
Love and marriage.
Wow, this is that episode since it's our last one. We're making it that.
The last one. Oh, we gotta say New Year's resolutions, dude, before we get off.
All right, we'll do quick resolutions. All right.
I just want to be more at peace, man. I'm trying to just keeping myself mellow as often and as much as possible, and I'm hoping to continue that into the next year with all the bullshit that's probably going to happen.
Jesus,
I think we're getting into election year.
Oh God!
Why would you mention that, Joseph? We're trying to have a Christmas episode.
You just said mellow and peace and election in the same.
I'm good. And that's the thing. I'm going to try to just. Because, this is who I am. I'm real mellow. I'm real chill. And I want to keep doing that. And I want to keep being, at peace and whatnot. And as obviously, like Bob said, I want to do some more traveling, go do some things. I want to see some shows because I miss seeing live music. We recently went to go see the last game of the season, regular season for the Texas Tech Red Raiders and the University of Texas Longhorns, and it reminded us we hadn't been into the downtown area of Austin in so long, and it reminded us of the good times that we had when we were younger, and it kind of gave me man, I miss this, I miss walking from place to place and seeing, stopping for a beer one place and going and listening to music in another. So I want to
back to Austin, man.
Yeah, I want to try to do that again, and hopefully it be chill and relaxed, because as much as I want to have fun, definitely travel. Who knows? You never know where I'm going to end up.
Yeah, for sure. Travel for me, for sure. Watching just the kids grow up and have fun. Looking for maybe a different job in my field, or just moving on to something else. I think I'm ready for that. But just a lot of great things. Quickly, everybody, 10-second resolutions.
Get some more rest.
Not give a shit what other people think.
Ooh,
yes.
Good one. Travel and to not be so pessimistic.
Randall, you go.
Oh gosh, I got to drop some weight. I know that's like the generic one, but this is going to be the year. I have some important doctor's appointments coming up, and I know what they're going to tell me, so I'm going to stick with that.
They're going to lube up their fingers for these?
There's something like that. A machine will be involved.
Your nickname in high school, it's okay, Ryan. I think there we go. I finally got a good laugh out of the machine. I need to focus on my health. I've had a few health scares this year with my heart and blood pressure and shit like that. So I'm gonna kind of not focus on work. I'm usually focusing on work and students and other people's kids and shit. So I'm gonna kind of focus on myself and my own family and my own friends and kind of enjoying life and relaxing and not stressing myself out too much. That's the plan.
As cliche as it sounds, I'm hoping to let go of the things I cannot change more often.
Joseph, ching out, Joseph. God, turn off the lights in your house.
All right, fine. Everybody hates me. Let's go.
Jenna and Danielle, thank you so much for joining us. Where can our listeners find you? Are there any episodes you'd like to highlight? Give us some information about the Did Not Need to Know podcast.
You can find us wherever you listen to your podcast.
Spotify, Apple, etc.
We're at Did Not Need to Know on all of the platforms. Yeah, we have we do 2 different types, and we've now, because we're busy / lazy, we do every other week. 1 week is true crime, 1 week is just like a bonus episode of just we call it idle time, and we just
shits and gigs.
It's basically just us talking to each other. It's an excuse for us to hang out and just talk about what we're reading, listening to, watching. So yeah,
we urge all our listeners to check them out.
Yeah,
they're fun.
They're great.
We appreciate you having us on. We
course.
love you guys so much.
Thank you.
Yes, we love having you guys on, and of course, we'll have you on once again in the near future. So thank you.
Once I person again and badger you and ply you with alcohol, it's fine.
And that's our show, everyone. Listeners, we'd love to hear from you. Hit us up and let us know what your least favorite Christmas movie is. Most importantly, let us know what you think about the show. You may reach us at formidableopponents@gmail.com and follow us on all forms of social media by searching for Formidable Opponents. We want to thank Creative Little Pill for her great artwork. Please follow her on Instagram at Creative Little Pill. Please subscribe, rate, and review us on any podcast platform you're listening to us on. Join us next episode. We'll be back next month with another great episode to kick off 2024. So for Bob, Joseph, Jenna, and Danielle, this is Randall. See you all in 2024.
Merry Christmas. Holy shit.
Bye. Where's the towel?
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.